Good morning, everybody. I hope this video finds you well. Today, I want to ask a question and talk a little bit about the answers. And the question is, who is running the United States? Is President Biden the president? I think it's a legitimate question to ask. There's all sorts of videos that clearly show that he's got advanced stages of dementia. He's shaking hands with the air. If he doesn't have a teleprompter in his ear, he's making all kinds of mistakes and gaffes. When he's in public, he's on cognitive medicine. When he's out of public and you catch glimpses of him, he's a mess. Today, a couple of physicians stated that they think that he's probably going to be a vegetable before the end of his term. As somebody who has worked, my mother, she had dementia, and I understand somewhat of what it's like. There's nobody upstairs, guys. So who is making these decisions? Who is deciding to attack Russia? Who is deciding to poke China? Who is deciding to ignore all the domestic shattering of society with out of control crime and everything going tits up crazy? What's going on and who's running the show? These are legitimate questions to ask, and so I'm asking them. I don't want to hear any of this rah, 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 Democrats are great, blah, 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 rah, 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 Republicans are great, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear any of that stuff, all right? I'm so far divorced from American politics. It's just a bunch of games. It's such bullshit. United States is a military empire. So who's running the military empire? And the thought that comes to mind is it's Victoria Nuland who's running it. And the reason why I say so is because every single policy that is coming out of the United States Senate and being implemented by the administration are her policies. 100% across the board, they're hers. And if she isn't running it, it is somebody who has decided to adopt her policies. So whether it's her physically or her policies only, that's what's running the United States government. People, in case you don't know, that is not a democracy. Okay? It's what we used to call a dictatorship. Now, people, once you have a dictatorship, it's very hard to go back to anything else. Dictatorships are followed by dictatorships, are followed by dictatorships. So no matter what happens regarding the presidency and elections and all this kind of stuff, you can't put the genie back into the bottle. You've got a fiasco going on, and it's only going to get worse. So why do I think Victoria Nuland is running things? Why? Well, the first trigger is ownership. If you listen to the speeches of President Biden, it's always, we are going to defend Ukraine to the last Ukrainian. We're going to destroy Russia completely. There's a sort of fanaticism about that. It's not a pragmatic, we're going to take care of this and then go to that and then move on to this. No. It's an emotional attack attachment to an idea, a concept, a situation that is in play. It's an emotional attachment. But we know President Biden has dementia, so he can't be emotionally attached to that. Somebody's whispering in his ear, his earpiece, telling him what to say, and whoever it is emotionally attached to Ukraine and the collapse of Russia through that. Who the hell would be so damn emotionally attached to that? Well, I argue that it would be the architect of the coup that installed the puppet regime in 2014. And that architect who did that has a vested interest in the success of that. So who did that? Oh yeah, Victoria Nuland did that. It's true. So that's the first red flag. And I'm not the only one who's noticed it, people. I'm not the only one. It's a massive red flag. What about the other policies that she embraces? Carving out Taiwan from China and using it for a springboard to destabilize China. That's one. That's one of her pet projects. In fact, she was instrumental in establishing the DPP, taking over the government, the pro-reconciliation government in Ukraine. She's really got her fingers in the pies, guys. Now, of course, when you're looking at something and throwing out this idea that she's running the show, you also have to look at her other projects. She seems to be, like many of us, interested in certain things and not interested in other things. She provides lip service to things that she's not that interested in. She seems to have this fixation on America greatness, the neocon ideal that God has granted America special privileges and that America must stay the hegemon. She believes this. So she's focused on international wars, battles, and power plays regarding that. And the things that she's not interested in is domestic welfare of the people, healthcare, housing, homelessness, inflation, general mainstream economics for people. She has no interest in that. So what are we seeing? We're seeing a voracious appetite for hyper interaction of the United States internationally as far as power grabs in a neocon manner, and near zero influence on anything that's going on domestically. There's no proclamations that we're going to handle this or we're going to handle that. My gut feeling is that it's kind of running on autopilot. Token bills will be thrown for the Senate and Congress to vote upon, but nothing will ever happen because it's not being pushed by the White House. And if some emergency happens, it'll probably be shooed under the rug and not really given its due process, due care, like the massive crime waves that are breaking out everywhere in American society. There's no action there. If there's a mass shooting, there might be, okay, they'll send Biden over there to say some kind words and they'll write some script for him to say, but that's about it. There's no emergency policies. All the other stuff is an afterthought. The Artemis Moon program, it's an afterthought. Everything else is just running on autopilot. Whoever is actually running the country is a neocon that is focused almost exclusively on global domination for the unipolar order and using Biden as the vehicle. They have a vested interest a vested interest in the outcome of Ukraine and Russia. It's almost a visceral emotional attachment. And they have no interest whatsoever what's going on domestically. What does that tell you? It tells me that it's Victoria Nuland, or somebody who is of like mind to the T. And that's who's running the United States. So who's running the United States of America today? Victoria Nuland. That's who's running it. I want to say Lord help us, but it's too late right now. The die has been cast. It's cast. And that's just the way it is, guys. Sorry to say, if you're in America and you're American, you are fucked. If you're an American ally and your leadership, for whatever reason, wants to get tighter with the United States, you're fucked too. Sorry, that's the way it is. Well, guys, that's all I really wanted to say in this one. Maybe other people will start putting pieces together. There seems to be a general 3 to 5 year lag time from whenever I say something to the rest of the world gets on board. So you can hear or say that you heard it here on MM first. Well, there's been rumblings of other people. Nobody's really spelled it out like I've spelled it out. And with that, just keep in mind that your future lies in your hands, and you'll make it because, well, I believe in you. That's why. Take care.